The 21 day, this is day 6 of 21 for the Sacred Breast Liberation Challenge. And what this is 20 minutes a day, 3 times a day. I'm going live. Well, no, I'm going live once, and then I'll premiere the same video later today at 1:11 on this channel. And then you will need to do the move on yourself the third time during the day. But Mary Burmeister, who brought Jin Shin Jyutsu to America, she had a method of doing Jin Shin Jyutsu simply by holding your left hand on your upper right shoulder or arm and your right hand on your upper left leg above the knee. I'm going to start with that. And like I've said before, you can do this sitting up, you can do this laying down. You can even just go on to sleep at night, you can do this position. It's very easy, very comfortable if you're a side sleeper. Mostly when you start doing Jin Shin Jyutsu, which is a healing art, a 3,000-year-old healing art that Mary brought to United States in, well, she finished her texts in I believe it was 70, I want to say 79. I'll be honest with you, I am not 100% right now. I hadn't worked out with weights in 3 weeks, and we just did a 20-minute workout from hell. It was the best, worst thing I've done in a long time. Going 3 weeks without weight training is not good for my body. So it was really rough. Plus I was on a water fast for, well, this is day 3, but I'll be breaking my fast today at some point. But I went to see the grandkids and went out to eat and overindulged like I do. And now I can say that I'm back down to my weight before I left. However, now I gotta get working out again and moving. And I highly recommend, if you are older than, well, I'm not even going to say that. Everybody needs to weight train. Our muscles need to be, because we're not physical people anymore. You know, we're not working on the fields. We're not working with our whole bodies, trying to hunt and gather for food. Gosh, I should have looked at myself, but whatever. You get what you get. So we're not that physical anymore. And I know myself, when I quit my jobs, gosh, 7 years ago, going on 8, I don't know how many miles in a day I walked, but it was a lot. And when I stopped working, I stopped walking, though I did my neighborhood area, but it was only like 1.5 miles a day. But I could really tell how different my body started reacting. And movement is key. Movement is so key. So if you're by the computer, I would highly recommend getting a little timer and putting it next to your computer. And every 30 minutes, 30 minutes, get up and at least walk around your desk, at least walk for 2 minutes. Do some squats if you can, move your arms if you can't. Dance. Dancing's really good. It uses the whole body. But do something physical, because that physical activity actually wakes you up because it gives you energy. I always thought the energy was from our food that we eat and the sleep that we have, but it's also from our movement. When our body, especially the runners out there or even walkers, when you're stomping your feet and your body, your heel and foot is pounding on the surface, whatever that is, it makes a little strike of electricity. I forget the name of the word of that, but it's a transfer of energy, and it actually strengthens your bones. So, but running isn't, we're not meant to run marathons. I actually did a marathon in 1999 with my husband in Hawaii, and I finished, I think it was a little under 4 hours or a little over 4 hours. I can't really remember. But my goal was just to finish. It wasn't to do a 6-minute mile. No way. But I had a lot of problems training again for my second marathon many years later. In fact, the doctors did a little scan on my body and told me that because the way my alignment was on my knees and my body overall, my hips, the way they were angled or whatever, it was not conducive for running. So I was having a lot of knee pain, foot pain, hip pain, and I didn't want to go down that path anymore, so I stopped running. And I'm glad I did, because the research shows that running is not the way to be in shape at all. It's a no. Weight training is where it's at. And the younger you start weight training, you know, your muscles have memory. So if you're an athlete in high school, that's fantastic, because as you get older, that muscle will have memory, and you will have to adapt accordingly. Also, if you look at the Ayurvedic chart and find out what constitution you have, Pitta, Kapha, or Vata, that will determine what kind of exercise you want to do. And I'm mainly Vata. You can be a combination too. I have a little bit of Pitta in me, which is a lot of fire. But I'm supposed to do more stuff like yoga and weight training than cardio stuff. And you can get your weight, because I just did it. I had my heart rate over 150 beats while I was doing my weights. And yeah, it was rough. I'm starting to know my body better and better, and know that I can continue working out maybe 130 heartbeats per minute, but if it's above that, like I have a hard time catching my breath. So weight training is where it's at, and especially if you're a grandma or, you know, have grandkids or take care of kids, being physical on the ground, playing with them, I mean, that's also really good, but I don't get to do that every day. And it's fun to be a kid again. And I'm 60, so I don't, you know, have age as a reason not to do things. Though I will say today, I said to my husband, I don't think a 60-year-old should be working out this hard. And he just laughed. He's a year younger, so, and he worked out before me, and he was certain, and he had worked out, his last workout was 4 weeks ago. Mine was only 3. So it makes a difference, a huge difference. So I highly recommend working out with weights. I don't go to the gym. I have my own weights here. Kona, go lay down. Sorry for my dog. She wants to go in, but I'm busy doing this. So we're already 8 minutes in, and let's see, what else can I talk about? Hydration is important, of course, before and after working out. I like to recommend drinking at least 16 ounces of water upon waking up. After I weigh myself, I drink 16 ounces of water, and that really helps rehydrate me, because at night the research shows that you lose a lot of water from breathing, because you're not in control when you're breathing at night. Are you breathing through your mouth or through your nose? And if you're a mouth breather, you should really look into breathing and getting some tape to close your mouth at night, because it's much healthier for the body to go through your nose, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. That's okay. But again, if you're sleeping, you don't really know. But if you tape your mouth, then you know you're breathing through your nose. And that nose filters out a lot of, you know, bacteria, viruses, dust mites, you know, you name it. It'll filter it out. But also, it helps bring in nitric oxide into the brain, which is, no, brain and body, basically. And that is very good for the body, nitric oxide. Very healthy. It helps. Gosh, it's escaping me right now because it's been a long time since I've done the research on it. But it's very healthy to breathe through your nose. Some people, only breathe through their mouth. Yeah, you'll end up getting sick more. You end up losing more water if you're breathing at night out of your mouth because of, it's a bigger area, of course. But breathing is so important. In fact, Mary with Jin Shin Jyutsu would say 36 breaths in a day. That would be her own little meditation. If you're doing this the third time at night by yourself, I highly recommend putting a timer on and then doing your breaths 36. It'll take you about 18 to 20 minutes. It depends on how quickly you breathe in. But there's box breathing. Oh, so we're changing. Right hand over your left arm, left hand over right upper thigh. So 36 breaths in a day. You need to, you can break it up during the day if you want. You can actually use your fingers and hold each finger. Every finger would be 3 breaths, and then at the end you can put your hands together and do 6, or you can do 3 here and then 3 here. When you're moving your hand like this or like this, it has a meaning with Jin Shin Jyutsu. I'm not going to get into it now, but there is an effect on your body. And Jin Shin Jyutsu basically is acupuncture, but without the needles. So you're placing your hands, which has its own chakras, believe it or not. You do have your chakras here, but you have chakras not only in your hands, but in your feet, and they're just little energy wheels. So, and if you don't really believe or trust me, then I would go like this for about 30 seconds. And after 30 seconds or so, hold it out. If you feel tingling, and if you feel some pressure as you're moving the chi, because that's what that is energy, you're cultivating chi right there. So as you play with that, and you can play with that, the kids love it. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's a lot of fun because the kids haven't been programmed, as I like to say, haven't been manipulated in a way to tell them that, that's not the way to play, or, they see things. They're still attached to the creator, and they might have imaginary friends because they're playing with other spirits. And I saw that in my granddaughter, the first one, a lot. And I haven't developed all my clairs yet. I'm working on it. But I thought it was fascinating how alive and energized she was when she would go outside, especially, and just talk to all the things she would see. But with this energy ball, you can actually pass it to other people and make it get bigger. You can put it all in a center if you're all in a circle. And you can also take it and put it inside you and set an intention and say, hey, make this energy help clear out any disharmony in my body. Or if you have a pain in your body, put it there. I know it sounds weird, crazy. When I heard it too, I was like, really? But I tried it and it worked. So you don't have to believe anything I say, but I highly recommend to try it and then see if it works for you. Because Jin Shin Jyutsu helped me get healed from Hashimoto's and helped with pretty much all the symptoms of menopause. So I am right now anti-aging with Jin Shin Jyutsu. All the instructors are 70 and 80 years old, and they look like they're 50. And they have very good physiques, like yoga bodies. They're not overweight. They don't have any accumulations, as they would say. And that's what I'm striving for. And it's not hard. It's simple. You just got to do the work. And this is only 20 minutes 3 times a day for any breast project that you have. So if you were diagnosed with a label of breast cancer, this is easier than going to chemo. And do it now, even if you don't have any breast cancer. If you have family that has a history of breast cancer, that does not mean that you're going to get it. Being a scientist, I know that the genes are either turned on or turned off. And just because you have a gene doesn't mean that you're going to get the cancer, like the BRCA gene. When I think it was Angelina Jolie found out that she had the BRCA gene, she got a double mastectomy. And I'm just like shaking my head going, why would you do that? Because again, it's been proven, and I worked at a Moffitt Cancer Center, so I know cancer. But when you go beyond the conventional treatments of cancer and go into the science and spirituality of cancer, it's based really on fear. It's based on low frequency emotions like shame and blame. And just knowing that your parent or your mom had cancer, you do have a little bit of programming of fear, thinking you might have it. So if that happens, that's perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with that. It's normal. But knowing the education now that just because you have the gene doesn't mean you're going to have the cancer should really excite you. And then give you the awareness to say, hey, anytime that thought comes into that fear of having cancer, maybe do this instead. Oh, that's right, my mom had cancer. Oh, what if I have it? Oh, awareness. What did I just say? What did I just say and put out there? Cancel, clear that. I am happy and healthy, and I vibrate and liberate myself from any disease every day. Something like that. I love my body loves me. It doesn't matter, just something positive to counter what you just said, because everything you think, everything you say actually manifests. So kind of look at that, watch your language, because if you're saying stuff like, oh, I'm so exhausted, I'm so tired, well, yeah, you're gonna be. I've stopped saying I'm tired. I say I need rest, because that feels better. That's more of a positive. And when I got involved with Jin Shin Jyutsu and learned about the different emotions, worry, fear, anger, sadness, grief, and trying too hard or pretense, and how I can actually balance those emotions when I start having them by simply holding a finger, believe it or not, doing breath work, and then doing the smile, because the Jin Shin is 3 components: the breath, the hold, and the smile. Drop your shoulders and smile is what Mary would say. That's when I realized, hey, I don't have to get angry anymore, because anger to me doesn't feel any good. I did the rage. I was with the menopause and having all kinds of rages and doing all kinds of crazy things that I would never even think of to do today. But again, I wasn't balanced then. I was out of my mind. I was reacting to a lot of things. And now I can say I don't react to things. I have emotions, but not, I'm very aware that if I have any anxiety or worry or anything, nope, we're good. Because I could feel it in my body, and it doesn't feel good anymore. It used to be the normal, but it doesn't feel good anymore, so I don't do that anymore. And because I have a daily practice of Jin Shin Jyutsu, it's just a different life. And it's really with ease and grace. And I highly recommend everyone to have some type of self-care. Maybe you don't like Jin Shin. It's the easiest modality that I've seen, and most effective one, actually, that it's the one I recommend. I've studied over 30 different modalities when healing my body from Hashimoto. So comment below if there's a modality that you want to know more on. I'll even do a video on that. But we have about a minute and 10 seconds left. So, I mean, this is so simple. The hardest part with Jin Shin Jyutsu is really remembering. And I think that's pretty funny, because in this new era of Aquarius, it's more about the being and not about the doing anymore. Doing was the masculine energy. Now we're more in feminine. So make sure you do this 2 other times today. And you don't have to, you know, do the video. Go outside, put some music on. You can even do it in the bath. I mean, this is so easy. You can do this during watching TV. The only thing I would recommend is if you're watching a TV program while doing Jin Shin Jyutsu, don't have a horror flick on or something scary or the news, because that you're countering the activity, because your brain's going to take over and say, oh, you know, look what's going on, and you'll put yourself into that fight, flight, or freeze. And we don't want to do that. Okay, my lovely beings, we are done with this today. So we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining.